The sea is endless. The horizon stretches forever, painted in silver and blue. Waves rise and fall, whispering stories older than memory itself. Some say Poseidon guards these waters, silent yet ever present. This is no ordinary ocean. It is alive, breathing in rhythm with the stars above. Travelers who enter speak of time bending, of days becoming dreams. At dusk, the water glows faintly, as if lit from beneath by unseen hands. Sailors lean on the railing, listening, waiting for secrets in the wind. The breeze carries more than salt. It carries echoes of forgotten songs. Legends tell of an ocean with no borders, where maps cannot exist. Each wave holds a story, each ripple a memory, each current a guide. You hear the call now, soft yet unyielding, pulling you forward. Close your eyes. Let the sound of the tide become your compass. You are no longer on land, but on the threshold of mystery. The endless sea of Poseidon opens before you, vast and eternal. And so our journey begins, one wave at a time, one whisper at a time. The horizon waits, endless and bright, a canvas brushed with silver mist and golden fire. The sea stretches without edges, calling softly to hearts that long for more. No chart holds its measure, no compass draws its path. Only the sky above and the waves below know its secret rhythm. They call it the Endless Sea of Poseidon, a realm beyond the maps of men. Here stories are not told by voices, but by tides that never sleep. Listen closely and you will hear the first whisper. It begins like a sigh carried by the wind, gentle yet insistent. Those who came before us felt it in their bones. They looked out across the horizon and saw more than water. They saw a promise, vast and untamed, shining like destiny itself. The first sailors were not armed with certainty. They carried only courage, curiosity, and dreams. The stars above became their guides, constellations their companions. Each night they read the heavens like an ancient book. Every morning they rose to find the sea reshaped anew. The waves bent and curved, carving pathways unseen by ordinary eyes. Their ships drifted into silence, where only the creak of wood remained. But in that silence was music, delicate as a lullaby. The sea sang, not in words, but in tones of foam and current. And they listened, as though the ocean itself breathed through them. They believed the sea was alive, an endless heart beating beneath the world. Some said Poseidon's spirit lived in its depths, unseen yet always near. Not as a figure with a crown, but as the sea itself. A god without form, boundless and eternal, woven into every wave. The sailors trusted the call, surrendering to what could not be explained. Each ripple became a step, each tide a direction chosen for them. They drifted further, and fear faded into wonder. They learned that the horizon was not an end, but a beginning. For beyond it lay stories waiting to be discovered. Every journey across Poseidon's sea began with this truth. That one does not find the ocean finds you. It reaches into your heart, awakening the part that longs for infinity. And once it calls, there is no turning back. The land becomes a memory, distant and dim. The ship becomes your world, the sky your map. Each star whispers guidance, each cloud carries meaning. Even storms feel less like danger and more like a test, a way to measure the strength of those who dare to sail. And when the storm clears, calm returns with greater beauty. The horizon glows brighter, the sea gleams deeper. Every wave reflects the courage of those who trust it. The endless sea does not seek to frighten. It seeks to awaken the dreamer inside the voyager. Those who follow the call find themselves changed. They discover patience in the long silence of calm waters. They discover humility in the vastness that dwarfs all ambition. And they discover hope in the stars that never fail to rise. This is why the call of the horizon has never faded. It continues to echo across generations, from one dreamer to another. Each feels the same pull, the same gentle voice of the sea. It is not a command, but an invitation, a chance to step beyond the known and into the eternal. And so the story begins, as it always does, with a traveler standing at the edge, listening to the call. The horizon stretches before them, wide and endless. The sea waits, patient and knowing. Poseidon whispers through the tide, asking nothing but trust. And the traveler steps forward, heart open, ready to begin. The first sailors entered the endless sea with trembling hearts and steady eyes. They did not carry maps, for maps could not capture what lay ahead. Their vessels were small, carved from wood, fragile yet faithful. Every plank whispered courage. Every rope held hope in its knots. They were dreamers before they were sailors, guided by wonder more than skill. Some came seeking lands uncharted, places untouched by human hands. Others sought meaning, a truth hidden beyond the edge of the known world. The sea welcomed them with silence, a silence heavy yet kind. No thunder roared, no storm chased them, only an endless horizon. And so the first voyages began, fragile ships moving across infinite water. At night, stars unfolded like lanterns above their heads. The constellations became their compass, glowing brighter than fear itself. They gave names to the brightest ones, calling them guardians of the sea. Each star seemed to lean closer, as if listening to their whispered prayers. The sailors trusted the heavens, believing the sky and sea were one. They followed paths of starlight, weaving routes no map could show. By day, the sun shimmered on waves like molten silver. Its light carried warmth, its reflection painted hope on their sails. The sea's surface glittered, not as a mirror, but as a living canvas. Every ripple spoke of journeys past, every tide promised journeys ahead. Sometimes, the horizon shimmered with shapes like phantom isles. The sailors would squint, wondering if land was near. But when they reached the place, only water greeted them. Still, they did not despair, for the vision itself was a gift. It proved the sea was alive, teasing them with dreams. They learned to see not with their eyes, but with their spirits. Each illusion was a reminder that truth lies deeper than sight. The sea tested them with silence, but silence taught them patience. They sang songs to pass the time, their voices rising with the wind. The melodies became part of the ocean, carried across endless waves. Some claimed the sea sang back, echoing their tunes in whispers. Others swore they heard drums beneath the water, slow and steady. These sounds filled them with awe, not fear. They began to believe they were not alone on the waves. The ocean itself was traveling with them, watching, listening, guiding. At dawn, they woke to skies brushed with rose and gold. The first light felt like a blessing, a promise of safe passage. They bowed their heads, not to gods, but to the sea itself. For they understood something sacred was unfolding before them. This was no simple voyage. It was a covenant with the unknown. The first sailors carried stories in their hearts, stories born from silence. They spoke of horizons that curved like infinity itself. They told of nights when the stars seemed close enough to touch. They remembered waters glowing faintly, as though the sea had veins of light. Each tale became part of a growing legend, whispered across generations. And soon, others longed to follow where they had sailed. The endless sea called not to one, but to all who listened. It was not conquest that pulled them forward, but wonder. The sailors knew they would never tame the ocean. Instead, they sought to be shaped by it, humbled by it. And so the tradition began, of leaving land behind to seek the horizon. Each voyage a question, each return an answer only the heart could read. The first sailors did not bring back gold or treasures. They returned with stories, shining brighter than any jewel. And those stories became the first map, etched not on paper, but in memory. Thus, the Endless Sea of Poseidon entered the world's imagination, not as a place of fear, but as a place of eternal calling. And even now, when the wind brushes your cheek, you may hear it. The same whisper that carried the first sailors into the unknown. A voice asking nothing but courage and offering everything in return. The sea speaks in ways few can understand, yet all can feel. Its voice is not thunder nor words, but rhythm carried by waves. Each rise and fall is a syllable, each crash a sentence. The ocean writes its language upon the shore, vanishing as quickly as it comes. But sailors who listen carefully begin to understand its song. They know that calm waters are not silence, but gentle reassurance. And storms are not anger, but lessons whispered with urgency. The language of waves is patient, repeating itself until hearts can hear. One sailor once said, "The sea does not speak to the ears. It speaks to the bones, to the heart that listens in stillness." The first lessons came through the tides, steady as breath. Low tide whispered of retreat, of humility, of patience. High tide thundered with promise, with boldness, with return. Together they told a story of balance, of giving and receiving. The sailors learned to wait when the water pulled back. They learned to move when it surged forward, guiding their way. Currents became lines of thought, threads weaving through the deep. Some carried ships swiftly, as if welcoming them onward. Others pushed back, firm but never cruel, teaching respect. It was here that the ocean's wisdom revealed itself most clearly. For every current, like every choice, had meaning beyond the moment. The sea reminded them that life itself flows in unseen directions. To resist is to tire. To follow is to discover. The waves themselves were teachers, never raising their voices. They simply returned again and again, until the lesson was known. Some sailors swore the waves answered their unspoken thoughts. When doubt filled them, the water grew restless, unsettled. When courage returned, the sea calmed, carrying them gently. It was as though the ocean mirrored the heart of the traveler. One night, under a sky full of stars, the crew sat in silence. The waves tapped gently against the hull, like fingers on a drum. The rhythm formed a pattern, steady, unchanging, eternal. A sailor whispered, "It is telling us we are not lost." And at that moment, hope bloomed, steady as the tide. The sea became not a mystery, but a companion. Each wave was a word, each tide a phrase, each storm a chapter. And the sailors were no longer readers, but participants in the story. They learned to trust what they could not see, to follow not only maps, but the pulse beneath the waves. Some nights, the sound of the sea grew soft, almost like a lullaby. The crew would fall asleep, rocked by syllables of water. And they dreamed not of land, but of endless horizons. Dreams where the sea itself spoke in human voices. It told them secrets of balance, of beginnings and endings. In those dreams, they awoke wiser, gentler, more patient. For the sea's language was not for conquering, but for becoming. Each lesson etched itself into the sailors' hearts forever. The language of waves could not be written in books. It lived in memory, in silence, in patience and trust. Generations later, the tales of those first sailors spread wide. Children heard stories of how the ocean spoke to the brave, how its words were not heard, but felt deep within. They too leaned close to the shore, listening to the whispers. The sea welcomed them, just as it had welcomed their kin. For the language of waves is eternal, never fading. It waits for each who listens, carrying the same truth: that the ocean is alive, speaking to those who are still. And to understand it is to understand oneself. For we too are made of tides, rising and falling. We too carry rhythms that echo the sea's eternal pulse. And when we listen, truly listen, we hear it clearly. The ocean says, "You are part of me, and I of you." That is the first and greatest truth of the Endless Sea. They say the Endless Sea is dotted with small islands, scattered like forgotten pearls. Each one rises from the water as if carrying memories too heavy to sink. Some are little more than rocks crowned with grass, quiet and unassuming. Others stretch wide with forests that whisper even when the wind is still. Travelers call them the Isles of Memory, keepers of stories lost to time. No two islands are alike, each shaped by forces unseen, each carrying its own echo. The sailors who first landed on them found no cities, no rulers, no gold. Instead, they found silence, ancient and profound, holding secrets beyond words. On one island, the sand sang beneath their feet like faint bells. Every step became music, as though the earth remembered forgotten songs. On another, trees bore leaves that shimmered like glass in sunlight. When the wind passed, they rang like chimes, soft and delicate. Sailors sat beneath them, listening to melodies no human hand composed. There were ruins, too, scattered stones carved with symbols unknown. Some believed they were the remnants of a people swallowed by the sea. Others thought they were messages left for those daring enough to arrive. Each stone, each carving, seemed to whisper of a story incomplete. And the sea guarded the missing pages, hidden beneath its endless tides. One island carried pools of water that reflected not the sky, but memory. When sailors looked in, they saw moments from lives they had forgotten. A childhood smile, a long-lost friend, a promise made and left behind. The pools offered no judgment, only reflection, quiet and unchanging. Many wept, for they remembered what time had stolen. Yet they left lighter, as if the sea itself had shared their burden. Another isle bloomed with flowers that never wilted, glowing at twilight. Their fragrance carried peace, lulling even the most restless heart to calm. Sailors gathered petals, though they faded as soon as they left the island, as if the gifts of memory could never truly be taken away. Legends tell of an island where shadows moved differently from their owners. When one walked east, the shadow drifted west, telling another story. Some said it revealed the life one might have lived, had choices changed. Others claimed it was a warning, a reminder of paths never walked. Whatever the truth, sailors left humbled, aware of the weight of choice. Each isle was a mirror, showing travelers something about themselves. Not through riches, but through whispers, visions, and fragile signs. For memory is not gold, yet it is treasure greater than any jewel. The Isles of Memory never appeared in the same place twice. Some vanished for years, then rose again when the sea willed it. They could not be hunted or conquered, only discovered when the time was right. It seemed the sea allowed each traveler only the island they needed. One crew might find the Isle of Reflection, another, the Isle of Music. The gifts were never the same, but always true to the heart that arrived. Generations of sailors told stories of these encounters. Children grew up listening, wide-eyed, to tales of glowing flowers and singing sands. They dreamed of stepping onto such shores to glimpse what memory held. For the isles were not destinations, but lessons carried on the tide. They reminded every voyager that memory shapes the journey, that the past, though unseen, guides the steps of the present. The sea did not hide these truths. It revealed them gently, through islands that appeared only long enough to whisper their message. And so the legend of the Isles of Memory grew, endless as the waves. Each story added to the sea's great chorus of meaning. And sailors learned that to journey the endless sea was not to escape. It was to remember, to carry forward the echoes of all that came before. For memory itself is a compass, guiding even when the horizon is blank. And the isles are its keepers, rising and falling with Poseidon's breath. They say the endless sea is not only water and islands, but also skies that never remain the same. Each dawn paints a new canvas, soft strokes of color rising from the edge of the world. The horizon glows with hues unseen on land, shades that seem alive and breathing. Sailors stand in silence, watching as night folds gently into the arms of day. Sometimes the sky burns with fire, streaks of crimson and gold racing across the heavens. Other mornings shimmer pale, a silver veil stretching endlessly over calm waters. Each sunrise feels like a message, as though the sea is writing poems in light. No two are ever alike, yet all carry the same quiet promise of a new journey. At dusk, the sea becomes a mirror, catching the fading glow of the setting sun. Clouds drift like ancient ships, their shadows casting stories across the water. Some say Poseidon paints the skies himself, reminding sailors of the vastness of wonder. The nights are no less extraordinary, for stars reveal secrets hidden from daylight. Far from land, the heavens unfold in endless clarity, brighter than memory itself. Constellations guide the way, though some shift into shapes uncharted by human eyes. Sailors whisper of patterns forming briefly, then vanishing like dreams upon waking. Perhaps the stars tell their own stories, ones only the sea can understand. The moon reigns above, silver and calm, lighting paths across black waves. Its reflection trembles, yet never fades, a faithful companion through endless nights. On rare evenings, the aurora dances, ribbons of light weaving across the sky. Colors ripple and twist as if the heavens themselves are alive with music. Sailors lie on their backs upon the deck, unable to look away. In silence, they feel the hum of the universe vibrate through their bones. Some believe these lights are the voices of the sea, speaking without words. Others say they are memories, drifting upward to rest among the stars. The sea and sky are not separate here. They breathe as one. When storms gather, the heavens roar, and lightning stitches fire across the clouds. Thunder rolls like the footsteps of giants, echoing across the horizon. Yet even storms carry beauty, fierce and raw, shaping awe instead of fear. Raindrops strike the ocean like drums, a symphony of chaos and rhythm. And when the storm passes, silence returns, deeper and sharper than before. The sky clears, and stars emerge brighter, as though reborn from the darkness. Travelers learn to read these skies, to follow their shifting moods. For the heavens above are maps just as much as the waters below. Each color, each light, is a sign, a whisper of what lies ahead. But more than direction, the sky offers meaning, a reminder of wonder. It teaches patience as sailors wait for storms to pass and dawn to rise. It teaches humility as they realize how small they are beneath its vastness. It teaches connection, for the same stars shine on lands far away. Families on distant shores look at the same constellations, hearts bound across the sea. In quiet hours, sailors close their eyes and feel near to home. The night sky becomes a bridge, uniting souls scattered across the earth. Some say if you listen closely, the stars themselves sing. Not with voices, but with light that flickers in ancient harmony. It is a song older than memory, echoing in the rhythm of the tides, and those who hear it never forget, for it lingers within their dreams. The sky is endless, just as the sea is endless. Together, they weave a world of beauty, mystery, and unbroken wonder. To journey across Poseidon's waters is to live beneath living skies. Each dawn, each dusk, each night is a gift carried on the wind. And sailors learn that the heavens are not distant, but always near. For in every star, every cloud, every sunrise, the sea whispers its truth. That the journey is not only across the waves, but also through the skies. And those who look upward will find guidance, meaning, and infinite peace. Beneath the surface of the endless sea lies a world few have truly seen. It is a realm of silence, yet filled with voices older than the stars. Sunlight filters down in silver beams, painting shifting patterns on hidden kingdoms. The ocean floor stretches vast, carved with ridges, valleys, and shimmering plains. Coral rises like castles, alive with color too vivid for human words. Each branch glows faintly, as though breathing with the pulse of the sea. Fish weave through these palaces, flickering like living jewels in endless motion. Their movements are dances, choreographed by tides and currents unseen. Sea turtles glide like patient guardians, carrying centuries within their shells. Schools of tiny creatures move as one, a single shimmering body of light. Some sailors claim to have glimpsed ruins beneath the waves. Pillars of stone leaning, arches draped in seaweed, silent halls now home to fish. Were they temples, built by hands long vanished? Or did the sea itself shape them, carving stories in stone for eternity? Whispers tell of statues with faces worn smooth, gazing upward through the water. Eyes fixed forever on a sky they can no longer reach. Legends say Poseidon himself walks here, unseen, his steps shaping the seabed. Where he passes, currents bend, and silence deepens into sacred calm. Travelers who dive into these waters speak of feeling watched, yet not feared. It is as if the sea itself observes, measuring every heartbeat. Stranger still are the gardens of light, hidden in the deepest valleys. Here, creatures glow with colors brighter than fire, softer than moonlight. Jellies drift like lanterns, their bodies pulsing with gentle radiance. Fish gleam in rainbow hues, streaks of light carving paths through the dark. The water becomes a sky turned upside down, stars swimming instead of burning. And those who witness it forget the difference between sea and heaven. There are sounds too, though no voice speaks them. A low hum reverberates through the bones, a song of the deep. Some say it is the ocean dreaming, singing to itself in eternal rhythm. Others claim it is the memory of the earth, carried forever in the water. Whatever it may be, the melody lingers long after leaving the sea. It follows in dreams, soft as a whisper, impossible to forget. Creatures vast and shadowed move in the distance, shapes too great to name. Their presence is gentle, slow, and unthreatening, as if guardians of this realm. They drift like mountains, carrying silence in their wake. To see them is to know how small the human heart truly is. Yet there is no fear, only awe, for the sea reveals only what it chooses. And those chosen to see understand that they have been given a gift. The undersea world is not a place of conquest, but of humility. It reminds sailors that life exists far beyond the reach of land, that beauty thrives unseen, flourishing without witness, without need for praise. The sea holds mysteries not meant to be solved, but honored. Every dive, every glimpse is a chapter in a book no hand can finish. The endless sea teaches through silence, light, and movement. Its lessons are not shouted, but whispered in currents and tides. Sailors return to the surface changed, carrying quiet reverence in their eyes. They speak less, but feel more, their hearts softened by what they have touched. The ocean's depths linger within them, shaping how they see the world above. And though they cannot bring its treasures back, they carry something greater. They carry memory, awe, and the peace of knowing there is more than land. The sea beneath is endless as the horizon itself. And Poseidon's realm waits always, eternal, breathing, alive. The endless sea is alive with creatures that defy imagination, each more wondrous than the last. Some are small as a coin, flickering with light, like tiny stars drifting in water. Others are vast as mountains, their shadows stretching across the surface like drifting clouds. Dolphins leap beside ships, playful guides who seem to laugh with every splash. Their songs carry across the waves, weaving joy into the hearts of sailors. Whales roam with slow grace, their calls echoing like deep bells of the earth. When one surfaces, the sea stills, as though listening to an ancient voice. Legends say whales remember every voyage ever sailed, keepers of memory in flesh. In their eyes, sailors see kindness, a mirror of eternity gazing back. Schools of fish shimmer like shifting curtains of silver, bending with the tide. They move as one body, turning chaos into perfect harmony in motion. Seabirds circle overhead, messengers of the skies, calling warnings before storms rise. Some dive like arrows, piercing waves to snatch unseen treasures below. Others drift on the wind, their wings steady as sails of living cloth. In the night, stranger creatures rise from the deep, glowing with inner fire. Jellies spread long veils, glowing softly like lanterns in the endless dark. They drift silently, unaware of the awe they inspire from above. Sailors say they are the lanterns of lost souls, lighting paths through eternity. Still stranger are the sea dragons, whispered of in half-believed tales. Slender and long, their scales shimmer with colors that shift like dreams. They rise rarely, arching above the waves before vanishing into foam. Some doubt they exist, yet too many eyes have seen to dismiss. Each sighting leaves silence, for their beauty belongs more to myth than world. Then there are the sky breathers, creatures that leap so high they seem to fly. Sailors watch in awe as they burst from the sea, wings of water trailing. Some say they chase the stars themselves, longing to touch the heavens. Others believe they are Poseidon's messengers, testing the courage of those at sea. The ocean is not merely a place of survival, but of endless kinship. Every creature, from the smallest to the greatest, belongs to the same song. They remind sailors that the sea is not theirs, but shared with all who dwell. And in this sharing lies harmony, a lesson written in waves and fins. Even the smallest creatures, unseen by most, play their role. Plankton glow at night, turning waves into rivers of liquid starlight. Each step across a deck feels as if walking on constellations alive. Children laugh, trailing hands in the glow, watching sparks follow their touch. It feels like magic, yet it is only life, generous and abundant. The endless sea does not hoard beauty. It spills it freely for all to see. But not all creatures reveal themselves willingly. Some remain shadows, whispers at the edge of sight, testing patience. Eyes glimmer in the dark, then vanish before certainty can form. Sailors learn to respect the unknown, to honor what chooses to remain hidden. For mystery itself is part of the sea's living design. The creatures of the endless sea are not monsters, not threats, but companions. Each one carries a piece of Poseidon's breath, each one a note in his chorus. To watch them is to feel connected to something vast and eternal. To sail among them is to realize humanity is but one voice in the song. Sailors return from such journeys speaking less of fear, more of reverence. They tell stories not of danger, but of wonder shared across species. And children grow dreaming not of conquest, but of harmony with the sea. For in every leap of dolphin, every call of whale, every glow of jellyfish, the message is the same. Life is endless, woven together in light. And Poseidon's sea is not only endless in space, but in living spirit. The sea changes not only with time, but with the moods of the heavens above. At dawn, the water glows with tender gold, as if the sun paints each ripple by hand. The horizon shimmers, blurred between sky and sea, leaving sailors unsure where one ends and the other begins. Morning brings calm winds, gentle and steady, guiding sails like invisible hands of patience. Birds cry overhead, their wings outlined in morning fire, chasing schools of fish below. Every note in the air feels fresh, like the ocean itself is waking, stretching into another eternal day. By midday, the sea shifts its face, now blazing blue, sharp as polished glass beneath the sun. The heat makes waves sparkle, each crest a mirror reflecting skies without flaw. Ships seem small here, fragile shadows against the endless burn of light. The air hums with life, gulls swooping, fish leaping, winds singing against taut ropes. In such brightness, hope feels close, like dreams can be reached if one sails far enough. But then the afternoon comes, and the sea begins to brood. Clouds gather at the edges of vision, gray and heavy, like guardians waiting their turn. The waves grow restless, rising taller, moving with hidden strength beneath their calm skin. Sailors sense it before it happens, the shift in air, the silence before a storm's voice. The first gust is playful, tugging sails, rattling masts, testing nerves with sudden laughter. But the sea is never only playful. Winds roar louder, clouds close ranks, and shadows fall across waters once bright. Waves lift and fall, massive and unyielding, like the chest of a god taking deep breaths. The storm does not rage with cruelty, but with power, reminding all who command truly belongs to the sea. Lightning cuts the sky into pieces, thunder rolls like drums of unseen titans. Yet even in the storm, beauty lingers. The rain turning the ocean silver, each drop a fleeting jewel. Sailors cling not only to ropes and wood, but to faith, whispering names of gods into the howling dark. And as swiftly as it comes, the storm passes, leaving silence heavy and pure. The sea calms once more, its face smoothed as though no anger had ever touched it. Stars emerge above, each one mirrored in black glass below, twin heavens embracing. Night is when the sea reveals its deepest secrets. The water glows faintly with unseen fire, waves edged in blue light from tiny living sparks. It is as if the stars have fallen into the ocean, choosing to drift rather than shine above. Every splash of an oar, every dip of a hand, releases rivers of fire in the dark. The sky and the sea blur once more, endless lights above and endless lights below. Sailors cannot tell where they are, adrift between two galaxies, one of stars and one of waves. Moonlight drapes the water, silver ribbons stretching across the horizon. The night air feels softer, carrying secrets, songs, and dreams too fragile for daylight. Some sailors swear they hear whispers in the wind, voices older than humankind itself. Others say it is the sea speaking, comfort after trial, a reminder of shared existence. The cycle repeats day after night, calm after storm, light after shadow. Each shift is part of the great rhythm, the heartbeat of Poseidon's endless realm. Sailors learn not to fight it, but to listen, to live by its song rather than their will. For the moods of the sea are not threats, but lessons, teaching humility and grandeur. And those who sail long enough come to see not danger, but harmony and change. The sea, like life itself, is never still, never final, always unfolding. To witness its moods is to witness eternity moving, one tide at a time. Every sea holds islands, but the endless sea holds islands unlike any known to men. They rise suddenly, unmarked on maps, as if the ocean itself decides when they appear. Some shimmer with green forests, tall trees leaning over waters as clear as crystal glass. Bird song echoes across the waves, sweet notes carried by winds that smell of fruit and bloom. These islands feel alive, breathing with the same rhythm as the sea that cradles them. Travelers step ashore and find streams singing down stones, waters so pure they heal thirst at once. Flowers bloom in colors unseen elsewhere, hues too bright to be held by memory. Butterflies drift in the air, wings painted with shifting light like fragments of a rainbow. On such islands, time seems to soften, every hour stretching like a gentle lullaby. Yet not all islands welcome with song and blossom. Some are barren stone, black cliffs rising like walls against the horizon. Winds howl through their jagged peaks, carrying cries that chill the soul to silence. Here, no trees grow, no streams sing, only the raw voice of rock and wave. And yet even these grim places hold their own strange beauty. At sunset, the stone glows red, as if fire burns beneath its surface. Stars seem closer when viewed from such peaks, as though the sky bends lower to listen. Sailors climb them not for wealth, but for vision, to see farther into Poseidon's realm. Between these extremes lie islands wrapped in mystery. Mist clings to their shores, thick as woven cloth, hiding what lies beyond. Voices echo faintly from within, though no speaker can be found. Sometimes lights dance across the mist at night, colors shifting like the northern skies. Sailors debate their nature, mirage, spirit, or perhaps another form of life unknown. Those who step ashore often return changed, silent, carrying secrets they will not share. It is said Poseidon places these veiled islands as mirrors for the soul. What you bring within, you find reflected in the mist's embrace. Some find peace there, others fear, some never emerge at all. And then there are islands of wonder, homes to creatures not found elsewhere. Turtles the size of ships bask on their shores, their shells carved with lines like maps. Birds with silver feathers roost in cliffs, their cries like chimes ringing in the wind. In lagoons glow fish of living light, weaving rivers beneath the surface. Sailors dive into their waters and rise feeling reborn, as though kissed by eternity. But even in these havens, one truth is clear: the islands do not belong to men. They appear and vanish, move and change, shaped by Poseidon's will alone. No harbor is permanent, no land eternal, only borrowed moments on shifting stone. Sailors learn this lesson as they sail on, hearts full of gratitude, not possession. They know to leave behind no chains, no scars, but only footprints washed by tide. For the sea gives and takes, and its islands are gifts, not treasures to be claimed. Legends say those who try to keep them, marking maps or claiming rule, find only waves later. The island fades, leaving water where once there was land, as if it never was. And so the endless sea remains sovereign, its islands a dance between mystery and grace. To sail here is to witness a world still wild, still free, untouched by greed. Each island, whether lush, barren, misted, or glowing, carries a fragment of the divine. Together, they form a necklace across the sea, jewels strung on the thread of eternity. And every sailor who sets foot upon them leaves carrying more than memory. They carry a piece of Poseidon's dream, a gift of the endless sea itself. Legends of the endless sea are not just spoken. They are sung, whispered, and dreamed by those who sail it. One tale speaks of the Starwell, a place where the ocean drops into a spiral of living light. Sailors describe it as a whirlpool, not of danger, but of stars flowing into the sea. They say if you gaze into its depths, you see every life you have lived, and every dream not yet born. Another story tells of the moon bridge, a silver arc rising from horizon to horizon on rare nights. It glows with pale fire, casting paths across the waves, yet vanishes at dawn without a trace. Those who sail under its light speak of peace filling their hearts, as if embraced by eternity. But the most whispered legend is of Poseidon's harp. It is said to rest in the deepest part of the sea, carved from coral and pearl. When storms rise, the harp plays on its own, each note calming the waves into gentle swells. Sailors believe the harp is a gift from the god, a reminder that even chaos holds music. Some claim to have heard it, soft chords rising through the hull, lulling the crew into steady breath. Not all legends soothe. There are tales of the silent ship, a vessel seen drifting with tattered sails under a blood-red moon. No crew moves upon its deck, yet lanterns swing and ropes creak as though guided by invisible hands. It passes without sound, vanishing into mist, leaving only questions in its wake. Sailors argue whether it is curse or warning, but all agree to show respect when it appears. Then there is the story of the eternal turtle, an island, or so it seems, covered with forests, lakes, and even small mountains. Travelers once built fires there, walked its green paths, and sang songs beneath its starry sky. But in the night, the ground trembled, and the island began to move. It was no land at all, but a turtle older than time, carrying worlds upon its shell. It sank slowly into the sea, leaving only ripples where once a world had stood. These stories are not meant to frighten, but to remind sailors of wonder. For in the endless sea, the line between myth and truth is as thin as mist. Every legend carries a lesson, every tale a gift to those who listen with open heart. The Starwell teaches reflection, that every life is part of a greater spiral. The moon bridge whispers of hope, that even fleeting beauty has the power to heal. Poseidon's harp reminds sailors that music lives in chaos, harmony in storm. The silent ship warns of respect, that arrogance has no place on sacred waters. And the eternal turtle shows that what we think is ours may belong to another form of life. These stories are woven like sails into the fabric of every voyage. Around firelight or under starlight, sailors pass them on, voice to voice, soul to soul. Children grow up with them, learning not of conquest, but of reverence. For the sea does not reveal its secrets to those who seek to own them. It reveals them to those who listen, who honor its vastness, and walk humbly upon its deck. And so the endless sea remains alive, not only in waves, but in words. Every story is another tide, another current flowing into Poseidon's great song. And the sailors who share them are not mere travelers, but keepers of the ocean's memory. The journey across the endless sea is never truly finished, for its waters have no final shore. Every voyage ends only to begin again, Each return to land another pause in an eternal rhythm. The sailors who cross its waves carry memories like treasures, not of wealth, but of wonder. They speak of stars mirrored in dark waters, of islands that vanish, of creatures that breathe light. Each story is both truth and myth, woven together in the fabric of human remembrance. For in truth, the endless sea is not only water and wave, but also dream and spirit. It lives within every heart that dares to gaze beyond the horizon. It calls not with commands, but with whispers, gentle and persistent as the tide. Some answer by sailing outward, chasing dawns no map has ever drawn. Others answer by listening inward, hearing the sea's voice in their own stillness. The endless sea belongs not to Poseidon alone, nor to mortals who brave its face. It belongs to all life, to every creature that leaps, glows, sings, or drifts within its depths. Its lessons are carried on salt winds and rolling tides, waiting for ears willing to hear. Patience is one lesson, taught by the calm before storms and the slow rise of dawn. Humility is another, shown in waves that lift ships like toys and stars that dwarf human plans. But the greatest lesson of all is belonging. For in the sea nothing stands alone. Every current is tied to another, every life to every life. The dolphin depends on the fish on the plankton, the sailor on the wind. And the wind itself is guided by the breath of the earth and sky. In this endless chain lies harmony, a music too vast for one voice, yet clear in chorus. To understand this is to understand the heart of Poseidon's realm. He is not ruler in tyranny, but guardian in eternity, keeper of balance, not master of conquest. His sea does not demand worship through fear, but reverence through wonder. The sailors who return speak with softer voices, slower steps, eyes that carry distant horizons. They have seen beauty unclaimed, power unbroken, mysteries untouched by human hands. They know that life is more than harvest and harbor, that to sail is to join a greater song. Children who hear these tales grow with new dreams, not of gold or conquest, but of voyages that bring understanding, of journeys that awaken awe. They look to the horizon, not with hunger, but with hope. For the endless sea is not merely a place, but a promise that wonder endures, that mystery remains, that the world still holds infinite songs. As long as waves rise and fall, as long as stars burn and fade, the sea will remain endless. And so too will the stories, told in whispers, in songs, in the silence between heartbeats. The endless sea of Poseidon is not only out there, stretching beyond sight. It is within us, flowing in dreams, calling us to remember we are part of something vast. Each tide that touches the shore is a reminder, gentle as a hand upon the soul, that though we are small, though our lives are brief, we belong to eternity. The sea holds us, teaches us, and carries us forward. And when our sails fall silent, its song remains. The story of the endless sea is not one of ending, but of continuation. For every horizon is another beginning, every wave another word in the tale. The sea is endless, and so too is the journey. And in the heart of its silence, Poseidon smiles, knowing the song will never cease.